jury selection process right now. They're both at the jury selection process. Former President Donald Trump's hush money trial is underway in New York.
And locally, the Karen Read murder trial. So for insight, we turn to former Massachusetts Attorney General Martha Coakley, who's now counsel of Foley Hoag LLP.
It's great to see you, Martha. Thanks for your time. So let's start with the ruling today from the judge in the Karen Read trial. The judge will not permit the defense to tell jurors in opening statements that 3 other people were responsible for the murder of Boston police officer John O'Keefe, but that theory can come up during the course of testimony. What's at play here? The why? What's the why behind that?
So you're going to hear a lot from me about balance, the need for the judge to balance what happens in that courtroom so she'll be fair to the defendant, fair to the Commonwealth, fair to all the witnesses, the family of John O'Keefe. So she is saying, as we talk about an opening statement as a roadmap, that I don't want you yet to mention this until there is credible evidence that's gone before the jury, meaning she's not going to preclude this defense, but she just doesn't want them to say it at the beginning. When it's admitted, they can certainly use it in their closing arguments. And from everything we know about this case, you know they're going to try and introduce evidence of that. That is their primary defense.
Got it.
Okay. And, you know, of course, this case has gotten, you know, a great deal of attention through social media. We've been covering this. The judge ordered a buffer zone outside the courthouse to control demonstrations. So what kind of impact does this have on the jury selection process?
Well, look, one of the things I think we all agree on is that the case should be decided upon what happens in the courtroom. And so social media, people outside the courthouse, this becomes a very structured event once the jurors are inside and they're seated. And so, again, the judge is trying to balance what are some First Amendment rights of people to express their opinion. But they're not going to be deciding this case. And she wants to make sure that there's no undue influence, things they've heard before on social media or otherwise. And I think, don't forget, you know, this is all of Norfolk County, not just Canton. Not as many people probably pay attention to social media or even cable or broadcast TV as we think. And the job is to make sure you get a fair jury here. And she wants to do that in the courthouse through the questionings and making sure that the people who sit not necessarily haven't heard of this case, most people probably have, but that they haven't formed opinions about this case that will interfere with their ability to be fair jurors.
Well, Martha, speaking of cases that they probably have heard of and they maybe have formed an opinion on, jury selection has also begun in a key issue with the former President Donald Trump's trial in New York. After 2 days, 6 jurors have been picked. The target is 18, 12 that will sit, and then the 6 alternates. Are you surprised at all that things are moving as quickly as they are in that trial?
Yeah, I am a little bit, but pleasantly surprised. I think this judge is trying to keep a tight control over what happens. And I think one of the very wise things he did was to let any jurors kind of self-eliminate themselves by saying either the schedule or I formed an opinion. That got rid of a lot of people that they might have spent time on otherwise. And so now you're down to people that you'll see if there's a reason, that what we call for cause, to let them leave. We heard from one juror who said the schedule just wouldn't let me permit me to do my job. And so the judge, I think, is being very smart. And I think at that rate, this will move more quickly than we would have thought.